First and foremost, just gotta say I respect the black conservative perspective. Greg Foreman, I like his content, but for this certain issue, I got to disagree with him on, because there are just some things here that should have been like a huge, like, you should have made sure like your platform is protected when you are interviewing a certain individual like Nick Fuentes, because anytime Nick Fuentes comes into the picture, there's always some controversy, or when he gets interviewed by somebody, it ends up hurting a person's podcast, or ends up hurting a person's brand because of how toxic Nick Fuentes is. This is let me just go ahead and reiterate this. This is not about censoring. It's not about that. This is more about protecting your brand from a individual like Nick Fuentes. And Jess Pearly things did not do that. She did not make sure like her brand was protected. She did not make sure like, there was not going to be any backlash here when she interviewed this guy. But before we get on with the video, I want to show y'all some articles about why a lot of people hate Nick Fuentes. Let me just go ahead and show y'all this right here. If I could just pull this up for you guys. This is from Forbes. Meet the Gen Z white supremacists who dined with Trump and Kanye West. Okay, so during that whole ordeal, Kanye West got set up. Yeah, he got set up by both Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos. He got set up in that whole ordeal. Okay, let me go ahead and read why a lot of people do not like Nick Fuentes. And the Republican Party does not want to associate with you. You know full damn well you are a big thorn in their side, or you are just making their party look bad. In 2020, Nick Fuentes founded the American First Political Action Conference as a far-right alternative to the Conservative Political Action Coalition in an effort to distance himself from mainstream GOP, which he criticized for its support of Israel and its globalist stance on America's role in foreign affairs, attracting far-right members of Congress, including Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar, to speak at its annual events. Speaking at a far-right rally in February, Fuentes got a crowd to cheer for Russia's invasion of Ukraine, starting a Putin chant stating, "They say Russian President Vladimir Putin is Hitler." Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt condemned the remarks as disgusting. A staunch Trump supporter, Fuentes called on his followers, called gropers, to storm every state capital until President Trump is inaugurated for 4 more years, and went on to lead a group of followers to the U.S. Capitol during the January 6th insurrection, which we all saw the interviews. It wasn't as bad as they thought it was. You got freaking the Capitol Police escorting people to the office, basically getting them a tour. We all saw like how the mainstream media basically depicted that as more than what it was. The Anti-Defamation League has accused Fuentes of promoting numerous anti-Semitic and racist comments on social media, including his support for the closure of U.S.-Mexico border to immigrants, his belief that the white race is being weakened by white genocide, and his opposition of LGBTQ rights, which he referred to as the bastardized Jewish subversion of the American creed, arguing our civilization is being dismantled. Fuentes, let me just skip that one. Yeah, so, and then let me also read y'all this article from the Business Insider, where Elon Musk's Twitter just reinstated the account of white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who previously said Hitler was cool. Fuentes has a history of extremist behavior, including attending a 2017 white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, denying the Holocaust and making racist and anti-Semitic comments. Fuentes has also praised Hitler in a video repeating that he is cool and awesome. So, in a December interview with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, this is what Business Insider say. Ye, who was joined by Fuentes, praised Hitler and made a number of overly anti-Semitic remarks. So yes, there's a reason why a lot of people do not want to associate themselves with Nick Fuentes. You got people from the left and the right who do not stand this guy. And then when he's like, "Oh, this is censorship. This is censorship. This is censorship," like, bro, you literally got yourself the platform because a lot of things that you say. It's not about this whole free speech ordeal. It's about you said some things that pissed off a lot of people from both sides. You're saying, "Oh, I'm being censored because, you know, these people can't take what I say." You're literally saying a whole bunch of some racist remarks, and you're saying saying like you praise Hitler, and you're wondering why the freaking right does not want to associate.
These guys that are so upset.
Yeah, you're wondering why the right does not want to associate with you. Like, this is one of the reasons why Milo Yiannopoulos got basically distance from the right, the Republican Party, because the man he actually supported child-adult relationships, saying like if it's consenting with both parties, it should not be a huge ordeal. It should not be a big deal. The same thing with that Eliza Blue said that got her into a whole bunch of controversy, where she said if it's between a consenting child and a consenting adult, it should not be a big deal. People should just chill out on that whole deal. When there was more to it than just that, her also censoring other people, her being invited to Tim Pool. Tim Pool did not want to address the whole ordeal, even though he gave her a platform twice. And still to this day, for what I've seen, he has not really said anything about Eliza Blue, because he wants somebody else to say it for him instead of him saying it for himself. Basically being weak about it. I even said it during the whole ordeal when that thing first started. And then with the whole Ye situation, when he said something about him being canceled, Chase shutting down his bank account, he lost billions of dollars. Nick Fuentes was just there with Milo Yiannopoulos and Ye. He was just there, didn't really say much during the interview. People barely even knew he was there. Yeah, even still, it brought forth a whole bunch of controversy when it pertained to Ye. Why would he associate himself with this Holocaust denier and this white nationalist? But that's for another video. We're gonna get to the part where I disagree with the black conservative perspective here, Greg Foreman, where he said some of his text. He said, "Well, it's not that big of a deal to talk to Nick Fuentes." It actually is, because when you have worked so hard to make a brand as big as Jess Pearly has done, her inviting Nick Fuentes, it could just been gone like that, because of how toxic Nick Fuentes is, when he's hated by both the left and the right. This is what happens when you do not protect your brand. Your brand could be tarnished like in just a span of a couple of seconds. And now you got a lot of these other platformers tarnishing Jess Pearly Thing's brand because she had Nick Fuentes on her show. And like I said, she brought forth Nick Fuentes on the show, and now her show is being tainted because of Nick Fuentes. Guys, this is why I say, this is what my disagreement is really on. The fact that she did not protect herself. Like I said, I like her content. I really do. I feel like she makes some good points. But when you don't protect yourself to a certain extent, when you bring forth this guy like Nick Fuentes on, you can lose your platform just like that. This is why I say you gotta be smart. You got to protect yourself. And she even holds herself accountable for that. She did not make sure, like, she did not protect the platform. She did not listen to other people when they said, "Do not bring this guy on." And now she's basically paying the consequences for it. But let's go on with the video.
That with Pearl Davis here for interviewing Nick Fuentes, they're just trying to find ways to try to bring her down because they're jealous that she is more successful than they are, right? A lot of these guys have been doing this manosphere / red pill thing for years, right? They don't have over 1 million subscribers. They're not getting the same relevance and views that she's getting. And they're jealous because she's white, right? And also because she's a woman and she came in and she dominated this space.
But yeah, but now that she brought forth Nick Fuentes on, she's being railroaded by people in her circle because they know the history of Nick Fuentes. They watched some of his videos, most likely watched some of his clips, read some news about him or watched the news about him. And for what some of the things he says about Hispanic people, black people, and all that stuff, based, like I said, with that one article that I showed y'all, saying like, oh, the white genocide, the white population is being decreased and all that stuff. When you bring forth somebody like that on your platform, there's obviously going to be some backlash, and it's nobody's fault but Pearl's. Like she said in the video, she hold herself accountable for bringing forth Nick Fuentes, where she should have listened to certain individuals.
She put in the work, okay? She actually created a podcast, okay? She has it looks like she has a studio, or she rents a studio, or whatever. Anyway, she produces high-quality content, okay? To me, I mean, it's good, right? And she's clearly doing all the things that the wokes want, right? From the white man or for white people, right? Hire black people, give them chances. Okay, platform their voices. I mean, again, she is platforming black voices, literally, okay, platforming black voices, and they're benefiting from it. They're getting paid, they're employed, they probably have good jobs. She's making money too. Again, there should be no complaints here. But again, I'm not mad that she does. Well, I wouldn't even be mad in the first place. She sounds like she's actually doing some good here. Like she's getting people jobs, she's getting people a huge platform. Basically lift them up so they can have like a startup here. I don't see anything wrong with that if she's genuine about it. But that's not really the big issue here. Like, yes, you had some people do the whole race baiting thing. She brought forth Nick Fuentes, so here's my proof that she's a racist. She's virtue signaling. She's a liar. She's out here using black people in order to try to save face. The whole token black people fiasco that like some individuals, some leftists, some woke people beyond. That's not really my main concern here. That's a lot of other people's concerns. Again, a lot of these guys, because they're jealous, they just find this Nick Fuentes thing as you see that? See, I told you guys she was racist, right? She didn't belong in our community in the first place, right? Because she's racist. She's a closet racist, right? Again,
like I said, I'm not going on that bandwagon because that's beneath me. I don't think Pearl is racist. I really don't. She just had a really bad take when she brought forth Nick Fuentes.
Forget her track record of, all the, having black employees, dating black men, being, genuinely supportive of black people. So it seems. Forget all that, right? Oh, she said that African immigrants work harder than Americans, right? And it's like, well,
she's not wrong there, because to some extent, because there are some immigrants who do come here and work a lot more harder than some Americans here. Like you had some Americans here that are like 400, 500 pounds. Get the welfare checks. Get Social Security. They don't want to work because they feel like they are too privileged to work. Like say individuals that just want to live off of welfare, live off of Social Security, live off of food stamps. A lot of Americans here that just say like, oh, I don't want to work. Working is too hard. Flipping burgers is too hard. Those certain individuals are usually the ones that push for socialist policies because they feel like they are too privileged and too entitled to work. But let's keep on going.
She didn't say black Americans. She just said Americans in general. Okay, which again, whether you agree or disagree with that, to me that's not necessarily a slight at so-called black people, right?
And like I said, I'm not going to be going on that bandwagon because there are some people out here that do be on that race baiting bit. I'm not for that, okay? either if you're gonna bring forth stuff like that, at least have some facts.
Or descendants of slaves, right? It's not a slight at them. She's just saying, hey, in my experience, I like my African employees, immigrant employees, because they tend to work harder. Again, whether you agree or disagree with that, I don't think that's a diss towards black folks. So anyways, she did what everybody does when, you get backlash from the mob, and she issued a groveling apology, despite the fact that, in my opinion, she did nothing wrong, right? She did nothing wrong by platforming Nick Fuentes and simply making jokes, okay? She made a joke about, okay, her African employee being late or whatever. And I'm like, what's wrong with making jokes, right? Who cares if she makes a joke about it? I joke about that all the time. I joke about black people being late, okay? I call it BST, right? You're operating on black standard time. It is what it is, man. It's totally fine to make jokes about white people not being able to cook, right, or season their food. I'm just saying, I mean, there's certain stereotypes about certain races and people make jokes about them. Who cares? But again, these people are just looking for an excuse to try to bring her down because she's more successful than them. So without further ado, let's listen to her.
Well, again, I would not say like that's entirely it right here. I would say, like I said, it's an individual like Nick Fuentes, who is notorious for saying a whole bunch of crazy, outlandish, racist, off the wall things when it pertains to black people, when it pertains to Hispanics. Like I said, like I showed y'all doing that news article, basically promoting the whole Ukraine Russia thing, praising Vladimir Putin. That whole ordeal, it spells bad. But when you have somebody that brings forth this guy that says some things about black people, like what he said with that what he said to that Italian chick when she was apparently dating a black man, he was not really for that. And let me just make things clear. There are black individuals out here that do say they don't want they black men or they black women dating outside their race. There are people that do say that, and I will even say that in this statement or in this video. That is a stupid ass statement. People have the right to date outside their race. You can't dictate whether or not someone should stay with they jeans or the same color, because that makes you look closed-minded. I will make that statement here.
A groveling apology, which is a massive mistake in my opinion.
And also, he said, like, Italians don't want that chick, don't want that Italian girl that dates black men and stuff like that. He sees it as sickening. Just blatant stuff like that he says they do rub people off the wrong way.
So, but I'm going to answer questions that people have brought my way. So the first thing is, why did you have Nick on? So, the reasoning behind having Nick Fuentes on was because I heard that he was on the no-fly list and he lost his bank account. Now, from your point of view, you would think, why would you invite someone on that's on the no-fly list, right? That would be a bad... Well, he's not anymore. That's how he flew, but he was. So I was more just curious why this man was banned on everything. Now, I've seen a lot of videos that say I play dumb or I'm playing dumb. And I'll tell you what I knew and what I didn't know. So I did know that he was a known racist. I did know he was a known sexist. I did know that basically every bad name in the book from the right and the left, everyone hated him. So,
right, yet you still interviewed this guy thinking like there was going to be something different there. So this, like I said, this is where she ended up damaging her own brand, because she brought forth this guy knowing the backlash or the controversy that he has come forth with. And here's the thing, you have some guys out here claiming that they warned Pearl to not bring forth Nick Fuentes. Like, I watched the interview with ABL, Anthony Brian Logan, and his take about this whole deal. He basically said, like, yo, me and several other people warned you about bringing this guy on, and the backlash you're receiving is your own fault. And she did say, this is on me. I'm the one who brought him on the show. I was thinking maybe there was something else there for why he basically got shadow banned all over social media. Now she's facing the backlash, and you have some people who are pissed off at her for making a very drastic and dumb decision.
So, the reason I had him on was because, guys, people say that stuff about me. They say I'm sexist. They say I'm a misogynist. And,
Yeah, but I haven't seen anybody call you a racist, though. That's the thing. People call Nick Fuentes a racist and an anti-Semitic person. I don't hear that about you. That was your mistake trying to compare the two.
Oh, I really just like to give people the benefit of the doubt when I interview them. I don't go into interviews trying to interrogate someone. I just more try to listen and see where they're coming from.
Yeah, that's illegal in 2023, right? You can't listen to people who you disagree with politically, okay? Or that have different opinions than you, or opinions that are deemed to be extreme, right? You can't listen to those people at all, okay? They don't have a voice, okay? Pearl's learning this the hard way.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like you. Okay, that's what pertains to the far left, and also the far right. But like I said, I'm not for that whole censorship thing. You just need to be more careful in protecting your brand. And right here, Pearl did not do that. She did not protect the brand. You can have debates. Like on my channel right here, I've had debates with socialists, right? Like some people would see, where I had some guys talk about, working should only be 20 hours a week, and then we should be getting paid tremendous amount of money. We should let the state nationalize all these businesses. Or I had that one take with that one socialist saying like the USSR wasn't that bad, and the USSR was the best economy out there. A blatant lie. I'll have that video later on, because I did talk to some fellow philosophers about that whole deal. But you can have interviews. I'm not saying like you can't have like certain conversations, whether or not you pertain to some biased people out here or anything like that. Like I said, this is more about protecting your brand, and Pearl did not do that.
In hindsight, that wasn't smart. And in hindsight, I should have had someone, maybe Sarah Garvey, maybe another content creator that could have pushed back more and really was more educated on the topics that he was talking about than I was, because I certainly was not an expert in any of the stuff that he was talking about.
Well, your job is not necessarily to push back as an interviewer. Your job is to listen. Now, if you want to push back, fine, but I mean that's not the point. Is to have the person on so that you can listen to their viewpoints and hear what they have to say.
I did remove the interview. I again did not think through a lot of the repercussions of posting that, so I just removed it.
Again, another mistake. So you removed it because of mob backlash, right? You removed it because of mob backlash, but it's still on the internet. So effectively, what did you accomplish? Nothing. You just showed that, hey, if the mob tells me to do something, they get mad at me, I'm going to do it, right? That's what you're showing.
Well, again, I would not agree with this, because this is not some woke mob backlash. This is people in her own circle saying like, "Yo, you screwed up." This is not really a woke backlash type thing. Like I said, it's people in the red pill community, in the manosphere, that say like, you interviewing this guy was a huge mistake. Some of us tried to warn you about this whole ordeal about who this guy actually is, but you did not want to listen. And then you end up giving him a platform so he could sprout out some of the things that we have said that this guy is about. That's basically what this is. This is not some woke liberal thing. This is people not liking Nick Fuentes and not liking Pearl, giving him a platform to basically sprout out some of his nonsense.
If you do want to see the full interview, Obsidian did react to it. That's on his channel. The intention was not, I guess, to hide it. It was just, this might not have been the best move. I'm just going to remove it now. So again, racism has no place in society, and I do take
Again, she said all the things that they say, okay, when the mob comes after you. Oh, racism has no place in society. again, this is pathetic, man. This is worse. Okay, this is worse. If she would have stood her ground and said, you know what, I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in listening to people's opinions, even if you disagree with those opinions. And that's it, right? These are the values I believed in. I respect her a lot more than this. This is just kowtowing. This is just telling the mob that, yeah, we can quite literally just ban people from society and not let them speak at all because we find their views to be deplorable, right? This is not standing up for free speech.
Yeah, this whole deal was not about free speech though. This is about like people know about Nick Fuentes and the things he says when it pertains to people who don't share the same ethnicity or the same race as him. This is not about this is not a appeal about free speech. This is appeal about, yo, this guy is bad news. You should not, associate yourself with this guy. It's not about free speech. Like I said, man, if you want to interview Nick Fuentes, you need to be ready for the backlash, because there's a reason why Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos got canceled or deplatformed, because they did it to themselves. Like I said, there's a reason why the Republican Party does not associate themselves with both Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos. And I'm not even for the Republican Party. I'm not. I'm libertarian. For what I've seen, the videos I've seen, the clips I've seen, the articles that I read from Nick Fuentes, I see why the Republican Party does not want to associate itself with this guy. I see why Miles Canales, Michael Knowles, get together, Blaze. I keep on forgetting that guy's name. Why him, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, even though I don't really like Matt Walsh, I can see why they don't associate themselves with guys like Nick Fuentes. Michael Knowles, yeah. My bad for that little ordeal right there, guys. Let's keep on going.
Ability for bringing him on. I made bullet points of everyone's concerns, and I'm just addressing them. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Again, if this is what you was going to do in response to backlash, you should have thought more thoroughly before you brought him on, right? But if you're going to bring him on, don't bring him on, post it, and then apologize for it. Just accept that, hey, this is what I did, and just stand on your values and principles. And the reasons why you brought him on in the first place was that, hey, I want to see what does he say that's so bad, right? And I want to talk to him and understand why he believes the things that he believes. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't owe anybody an apology for that, right? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. We all knew that Nick Fuentes was not going to say, like, the full truth of why he got deplatformed from all over social media and why the Republican Party wants nothing to do with him. We all knew, like, he would not say the full context of why people in the Republican Party does not want him. It's like the same thing that Milo Yiannopoulos did. He didn't give the full context of why the Republican Party does not want nothing to do with him. He just said, "Oh, the Republican Party. I just criticized the Republican Party, and then boom, they just automatically canceled me." And like just stuff like that. He didn't give out the full context of why he was actually canned from the Republican Party.
My Africans, that part. So in the heat of the conversation, I made some remarks to my producer, Blessing. Now, Blessing is a godsend. Okay, Blessing has made the production quality literally phenomenal. He's so talented. And during this conversation, we were talking about immigration. And I said, I'm trying to get my Africans to America. Now, I watched it back, guys. It was so cringy. Oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing.
You were making jokes, right? There's nothing cringy or embarrassing about it. You were making jokes like a normal person, okay? Again, there's no need to try to play this, oh, well, it was cringy, it was embarrassing, I didn't like watching it when I rewatched it, blah, blah. No, you were having fun in the moment. You were making jokes just like normal people. Own it.
I met my African employees. I just said Africans. The reason is because, like, why wouldn't you just say my employees or whatever?
Yeah, this is a non-point right here. Like, a lot of people there are some people out here on this platform that will use this as a means to try to push forth some, oh, look, she's racist. She's saying African employees. Like, That's a non-point right there. I will admit that.
To America. The African passport system is just more difficult than the UK one. I didn't know, like, Blessing had to go to the embassy or something to apply to go to America with me next month. We're going to go do some work there. And, yeah, and so I've just found that the immigration process is a bit more difficult. So that's why I referred to them, because my African employees I needed more help with. And, you know, I was saying in the interview that I wanted more open border policies because I wanted them to come. Again, you know,
you can never be woke enough, right? Yeah, you want more Africans to come here, but again, because you can never be woke enough, that's not good enough. If you say something else that they don't like, they're gonna crucify you on the woke altar. Again, she's learning this the hard way.
I really respect the African culture. I had no ill will or malice towards any of that. But it sounded absolutely awful. It was so cringy watching back. You know, so it was stupid.
Like I said, this is kind of a non-point right here. Let's get going.
Stupid. It was stupid. Okay. Now let's talk about the My Africans was the other one, and then the joke about Blessing being late. So one thing that they cut out from that clip was
okay. This is basically nothing else really here, but like I said, guys, Pearl, I really don't think she's racist. I really don't. She just had a really bad take here when it pertains to this whole Nick Fuentes ordeal, where people warned her about how Nick Fuentes is, who he is, and the backlash that come along with it. This is not about the whole free speech thing, because I'm not advocating for Nick Fuentes to be censored. Because, like I said, the dude got himself censored. He got himself deplatformed, just like Milo Yiannopoulos. Well, he got himself censored from the Republican Party. Republican Party don't want anything to do with these guys. And like I said, you got guys like ABL who's on the Republican side that says, yo, nobody should be associating with Nick Fuentes because this guy, he's anti-Semitic and he's racist. Okay? So I seen the freaking ratio on that video. A lot of people said ABL was advocating for censorship. That's not what he was doing. I'm not advocating for censorship. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just saying, okay, if you will get anything from this video, right? You will get anything from here. Make sure you know who you are interviewing, or make sure you know that you are who you're bringing on to your podcast, because you can't just bring on anybody. There's a reason why people don't bring on EDP. That's his name. Yeah, that freaking pedo on a platform, because this dude was about the cupcakes with underage children. There's a reason why people don't bring individuals like that on a platform, because it spells backlash. It spells backlash. Like I said, Pearl here, she did not protect her platform when she brought forth Nick Fuentes. She did not. She brought him on thinking it was going to be a cool interview or something like that, but that's not what happened. He said, there's some things he said there about the whole interracial dating. Like I said before, black people say that too when it pertains to black people and dating white women, white men. That happens on the black side too. Like I said, guys, the point here is that you have to protect your brand. Because if you interview the wrong person, and I ain't talking about freaking interviewing Trump either. If you interview the wrong person, your brand could just vanish just like that. Your credibility could just vanish like that. Like that. You gotta be careful who you bring on your show. You gotta be careful who you associate with. Like those freaking pedos that was doing a freaking trafficking ring and posing as LGBT activists. I made this video literally last year, where you gotta know who your allies, who you associate yourself with, who your allies are. But like I said, man, that's all I got for right here, man. Like I said, Greg Woman, did not agree with your take here. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys like the content, man, like the video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, hit the notification bell. I will see you on the next one. Peace.